Who in this room has a dream? Okay, I hoped that everybody's hand would go up. And who in this room thinks that their dream is possible? Yeah, okay, most of us. Okay, good. Well, what we see in this little exercise is something that's not all too common in the society we live in today. A belief in possibility. As an international community, we have a necessity for people who see opportunity in progress. And I think that dreaming is the first step. Well, for everybody who's like, it's undeniable that at some point in our lives, we will doubt. We will come to a point where we'll become afraid, or maybe we'll be insecure about what we're doing. Now let's focus on the first one I mentioned, doubt. Doubt is the origin of all human strife. We try to escape it, yes. We try to say like, no, I'm fine, I got this. But it's undeniable that we all feel these things. It's been part of the human condition to be looking for uncertainties and to have uncertainty in our past, our present, but most importantly, our future. I think, however, we must not allow these uncertainties to progress into fear, because fear is the ultimate limitation. Fear builds walls. Walls as a concept are the perfect manifestations of our insecurities, of our doubts, and our fears. And I know we've all been there, where preparing for a project, maybe training for a tournament. Oh no, maybe, where you're the new kid at school and we're going up to meet someone. But there's this little voice in the back of our heads that's laying bricks by asking questions. Can I do this? Am I good enough? What if? That's the worst one. And in filling our heads with these questions, what often happens is resignation. We give up on the project, we give up on the tournament, but I think that most importantly, we give up on ourselves. And in allowing our uncertainty to progress into fear, we've built this wall between ourselves and the possibility of success. I think that this concept is very applicable to my people back home in Mexico. Now, it's very easy to think of the first wall that comes to mind as the wall that may become a reality over the next couple of years. But I think that there's a more interesting wall to consider. The wall that exists within the minds of a lot of Mexicans, and that has existed for a very long time. I often wonder why my country is not a superpower, if you will, a huge actor on the international scale. We have an abundance of natural resources. We have an extremely qualified labor force in the sectors of technology and engineering, and we have a work ethic that is, quite frankly, unbeatable. What is it exactly that is making it so that all these factors are not adding up? I talked to my parents a lot about this topic, and something that came up in conversation really stuck with me. El único grupo que no cree en el potencial de México son los mexicanos, or the only group that does not believe in Mexico's potential, are Mexicans. Now, if I scroll through my Facebook feed like a couple months ago, I would see posts of some of my friends back home explaining exactly why and how Mexico has gone downhill over the past couple of years. If you ask a lot of Mexicans that have moved around the world, some of them will tell you that, oh no, we don't want to go back there. But I think that it's a very complex thing to tackle. Because, quite frankly, if we look at the economic progression of my country over the past few years, those two ideas don't add up. Mexico has become a key part of the manufacturing industry, being the #1 producer of microwaves and refrigerators in the world. Not to mention the fact that if you look outside, all the cars you're driving, yeah, at some point they pass through Mexico. We've become indispensable to the socioeconomic progression of the world, yet we're too caught up explaining exactly how and why we suck. I won't deny that my country has problems, but it's gotten to a point where a lot of Mexicans think that our country's all problems. And what happens after that is we look outwards, we look north to seek a better life. And in doing that, we build a wall between ourselves and the United States, which existed long before the real wall became even a topic of conversation. Because we refuse to believe in ourselves and instead choose to believe in others. I think that the more that I think about this topic, the more I realize that it's really happens to all of us to an extent. Humans have a necessity for the concrete. So instead of accepting an unpredictable reality, we choose impossibility. So we build these walls in our heads to give ourselves a sense of control. So in a way, we're not being motivated by our hopes and our dreams and all these amazing things, but instead we're being motivated by our fear of incompetence. But I don't think it has to be that way. You see, the funny thing is that as soon as the wall got announced, there was a shift. In the minds of a lot of Mexicans, things changed. If you look at Mexico over the past few months in the world, we've really stood up for ourselves on the geopolitical scheme. We've strengthened relations with both Asia and Europe, having Japan lower their tariffs historically, and having Angela Merkel saying that she'll support Mexico financially for any lost trade with the United States. And I think that for the first time, we accepted the help. Because before that, our pride would have not allowed us to. Even if I look through my Facebook feed, again, I see posts from my friends saying exactly why Mexico is an amazing country, why it's a great country, why they're happy to live there. So the possibility of a real wall coming to fruition actually helped us deconstruct our mental wall. All it took was a change in perspective and opening our eyes to see what was already there. Now let's talk about you, because the world is too big. Don't be motivated by your fear of incompetence. Instead, allow your happiness, your drive, your passion, things that make you feel alive, guide you in your endeavors. So when you come to the crossroads of your life and you come to these moments that you ask, what if? Ask instead, why not? We're the only people that are in charge of our future and our potential. And just as we're able to build those walls, we're the only ones that can tear them down. This shift from a culture of fear of incompetence to a culture of belief in possibility is the only thing that will save us from our foolish consistency and lack of progress. So take a step back. And as you see that wall approaching you in the distance, realize that that wall is you. And that you're the only thing stopping you from being incredible. We are defined by our actions in moments of adversity. And I think that believing in oneself is what primes us for greatness. So I urge you to tear down your wall and build a bridge. Thank you.